When I was a casual, I thought as a casual, I spoke like a casual, and I looked at boxing like a casual. But when I became a hardcore, I put away all those casual things. This is Michael Rogers, and welcome to Bodywork Boxing.
My word, and I do what I do. He knows what I'm about to tell him right now. It's Mr. Keep running your mouth. That's what I
I just feel like I'm the champ, and at the end of the day, I'm just a fighting motherfucker. It doesn't matter. Inside, outside, I can just fight. So I just feel like if it gets down to the wire, and we gotta lock it up, I'm out on top.
As you can see how I'm looking, I stay solid. I'm always solid. I stay fucked solid up, man. You know what I'm saying? To the fans that know.
I do that job outside the ring. I'm a fighter, like I said before. And no safety on the clock, so I'm ready.
I'll take them how they come and make them look ordinary.
Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to Bodywork Boxing. Y'all cried. And PBC listened. Okay? What are you talking about, Mike? Y'all was saying Keith Thurman deserves a fight and it's not fair and it's all these dates and these times and there's nobody for him to fight, and we heard that he was in negotiations and everything, but we were never hearing who it was. And we started hearing all this Bud Crawford stuff and this and this and this, but we knew that something was coming down the pike. And PBC is the platform. If you talk about the big man, a lot of them are managed by him and he provides the platform. Just like Eddie Hearn provides the platform for Golden Boy, Matchroom. He promotes for the platform, right? The big man at PBC manages some of these guys and provide the platform, right? So we get news about a Keith Thurman and a Mario Barrios fight. And I'm like, okay, well, that's kind of questionable. But everybody was complaining. And then people also were complaining that he couldn't just go straight to a young lion like Boots because of inactivity and all that. But I'm like, okay, well, but then Keith Thurman come out and say that he didn't even know who somebody like Jerron Boots Ennis was, which we know has to be a lie. His last performance, he lost by decision to Manny Pacquiao. And I blame Keith for us getting Manny Pacquiao and Ugas because Keith Thurman was supposed to do what he needed to do and he took Pacquiao for granted. We fast forward, everybody was saying, oh, Manny Pacquiao was going to wash Ugas. I got videos saying, y'all must don't know shit about boxing. Give me Ugas. And Ugas was like, water. And he pulled it out. So that's how we got that, but Keith took a bad rap when, he got the loss to Manny Pacquiao, but he came back and was saying, oh, I want this fight, I want that fight. Now he's campaigning for Bud, and we're about to get a Barrios who got stopped by Tank. Which is crazy because Tank and Pacquiao have the same exact measurables, height and reach. And Tank was being linked to fighting Keith Thurman. So PBC is doing something, who knows what they're doing, but the thing is they provide the platform and they manage a lot of the fighters. Outside of that, these fighters have some control over their careers. I don't really know if that's pay-per-view fight or pay-per-view worthy, but that's none of my business. we shall see as the fight gets built and everything's going on. That's not my purpose of this video. My video is to address some of the concerns with PBC, some of the myths, some of the, I guess, birdseed that's being put out here in these streets about PBC. And I just can tell you what I have come to know and understand about PBC. That's all I really can do. That's all most of us really can do. I mean, some people got access to people and they can come through and they can do interviews and all that. Whether we're going to get some real answers out of those interviews, who knows? Because they withhold questions. But I digress.
Let that bitch breathe.
PBC, they are right now notorious for having some of the most successful young black and Hispanic fighters out there. From what I know about Mr. Al Haymon is that he has more concern of these boxers outside the ring, and he has them thinking about their futures and investments. And I have never heard anybody say anything about the money side or anything really bad coming straight from a boxer's mouth about Mr. Al Haymon. Never have. I know that he has ties with Mayweather Promotion, and in an interview earlier this week where Mickey Bey allegedly exposed Mayweather for all his misdoings, it did come out that, or it was, I guess, I can't say come out, but it was emphasized that Mr. Al Haymon manages Tank Davis. And we can see where Tank Davis is as far as money and pay. And Floyd Mayweather is his promoter. And somebody would really have to make this make sense, where everybody has been actually coming down on Floyd about how, man, if it wasn't for Floyd, then Tank, he wouldn't even have all the blah blah. I'm like, okay, but what is Floyd's role in Tank? See, people get so concerned with the people that they don't get concerned with the role that they play. And everybody's quick to say, I just want somebody that knows how to play their position. Well, what position is Floyd in Tank's career? He is his promoter. It's his attention to garner attention towards Tank and his fights. Don't get it twisted. It was emphasized that Mr. Al Haymon manages Tank Davis. So if you know something that Mr. Al Haymon doesn't know, who just afforded Canelo his biggest one-fight payday over there on a network that he provides, a platform that he provides, and got his own fighter his highest payday for undisputed, sounds like he knows a lot more than anybody out here in these YouTube streets. So let's not get it twisted. Everybody wants to say, oh, Tank should leave Mayweather, who is his promoter. He garners attention for Tank to fight, and then people say, oh no, if it wasn't for that's his job. He doesn't manage Tank. And to be honest, what people really need to understand about PBC is the whole DHP and DAZN deal, the Devin Haney Promotions and DAZN deal, the co-promotional deal that they have, is a dime a dozen at PBC. Where it gets misconstrued is that where Devin's dad Bill is in roles like trainer and manager, a lot of these guys have Al Haymon who manage them. But they have their own promotional companies too. The emphasis is not on them to run around and say they are a boss. I.e., Man Down Promotions, who has Earl actually has on his Man Down Promotions, actually has a fighter under his company. Frank Martin. who's in the same camp with Coach Derrick James. So you can't, where everybody's trying to understand and try to point fingers and always trying to like bring everybody down. In the cases, as far as what I see in the PBC, is like you can point a finger at whatever you want, but at the same time, it's different than what all these other guys are. Like Bud over there on Top Rank. He said Bob couldn't make it. A lot of these guys have a big stake in what they do and how they do it over there. So if they choose to have a co-promotional deal and they choose to be managed over there under the PBC, then the fights, the money, that's going to be taken care of them. But based on what kind of business they run and how they handle everything, some of it's on them. Like if you mismanage your money and your affairs and you get in litigational issues and you're not available, it's going to be a question mark whether or not you will be around for a certain date in the future. For somebody with a platform that has to fill dates, what are they to do?
Let that bitch breathe.
So instead of putting chains on these people, they just advise them and say, hey, I would do this, I would do that. This is what the bread's going to be like. This is what your future can be like if you follow the blueprint that we're laying out before you. In the track record, I'm not even going to the track record of recent, but it's showing that they are pretty successful. There's a lot of people trying to poke holes here and this. Y'all look like that little squirrel on Ice Age who was trying to like fix all them little holes, but also creating more chaos in the whole midst of it all. Sometimes, man, if it's too futuristic, man, just fuck talking about all that bullshit and get back to talking about the motherfuckers in the ring. The ones that's throwing the jabs. The ones that's throwing them ups. The ones with the head movement. Let's just get back to the boxing. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people sound silly just running with narratives and trying to do this and do that. All I know is that when I looked at that interview the other day with Devin's manager, part of me sided with what he was saying, but then part of me said that this good timing with Devin trying to go into a fight. These are the things I look at as far as business-wise, since we want to be so business savvy. I don't think it was appropriate timing. What did it benefit right there? I mean, yeah, it benefits like the promotion of people knowing about that, but right now you're in a training with a fighter that's getting ready to come up on one of the biggest fights in his life, and the spotlight seems like it's trying to be focused on you. But then they talk about how Floyd promotes and all the problems with PBC. I don't know, man. I just know that PBC look like they are the ones that's really calling all the shots at the end of the day. And it has to be understood that everything can't be put on PBC because a lot of these guys have a vested interest in their future, their own future. They have their own company, just like Devin Haney. They just are on PBC. If you a grown-ass man and you sign a contract and you say that, hey, I didn't know that this person was managing me, and I didn't know, and I didn't know. Like, did you sign your signature down? Did you seek legal counsel? However that came to be, I mean, you grown, right? So let's not highlight and play the whole, victim role. Do what you need to do outside of the public's eye. That shit should have been taken care of and you could have did whatever. I don't think it was the appropriate time. I think that, it's a lot of good things that's going on with PBC. But then with any promotional company, with any boxer, with any fighter, we only know what's being told. There are a lot of things, there's always 2 or 3 sides to a story. And I just look at it like We want to see Jamal, Earl, Tank, who else? I mean, the Russells, you know, just to name a few of the people that I check with. We got to go to PBC. It would probably help if we understood how everything works over there before we just try to be lumping everybody into the same category. Because if you don't understand like much about business, what they're doing as far as entrepreneurship and partnership it's just up here. It's just something that you're not gonna get. And that's all I really got to say about that. So I look forward to what's going on, you know, as far as the championships that's going on and how these belts are going to be achieved, how we're going to get the unifications. I'm tired of saying names and talking about who's this and who is that. I'm just excited to see it, and I know that if it comes down to PBC and somebody really want to fight, they're pretty much almost guaranteeing that it can go down over there. That's it, that's all. Body work.
All right, I believe you. But my Tommy gun don't. Get down on your knees and tell me you love me. My word, I do what I do. He knows what I'm about to tell him right now. It's Mr. Keep running your mouth. That's what I do.
I just feel like I'm the champ, and at the end of the day, I'm just a fighting motherfucker. It doesn't matter. Inside, outside, I can just fight. So I just feel like if it gets down to the wire, and we gotta lock it up, I'm out on top.
Hey, look, as you can see how I'm looking, I stay solid. I'm always solid. I stay fucked up, right? You know what I'm saying? To the fans that know.
Do that job outside the ring. I'm a fighter, like I said before. Ain't no safety on the clock, so